In his speech today, Kenny will explore his thoughts on life, specifically biological life, and its incidence here in the universe. Please welcome Kenny for his speech, Life, a Rare and Wondrous Thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a singular point that I would like to make today, and that is that life, with a capital L, in all of its profusion here on this planet, may be the rarest thing in all of the universe. And the ramifications of that statement underlie almost all of my thinking, and many of my future planned speeches may either touch on or be motivated by that thought. But my speech here today, its primary intent is not to explore those ramifications, but simply to inform you on how I arrived at this conclusion and what that means. You see, the fecundity on Earth would suggest to many people that life is quite common throughout the universe. In fact, we know we have identified at least 1.9 million species here on this planet, and there are estimates that as many as 10 times more species lay out there awaiting classification and categorization. That's a lot of life. The fact of the matter is, no matter where we look on this planet, from the tallest mountain to the deepest part of the ocean next to the hottest heat vents, to lightless caves under the ground, everywhere we look, we find life. So it's natural to think that life could be everywhere. And in fact, what we know about how life arises suggests that it's pretty easy. We know that you can take some basic carbon compounds with other simple elements, you can add in some energy, and boom, you've got amino acids, which are the basis for proteins and are the fundamental building blocks for life. This process is so easy and it's understood so well that we can replicate it in the lab. And these elements and these conditions I describe are commonplace throughout the universe. So there's every reason to suggest that life should arise rather easily. And there's plenty of room for it here in our universe. We have 400 billion galaxies, more or less, in the universe. On average, they have 100 to 150 billion stars in each one. Some have trillions. Wrap your head around that. But using this math, it suggests that we have 40 to 60,000 billion stars to work with. And if you're a numbers kind of guy or gal, that's what that looks like. We know planets are common. We've got 8 planets to our 1 star here, and we see many more exoplanets where we look. But Earth-like planets may not be so common. So let's assume that only 1 in every 100 of these stars has an Earth-like planet. We're still looking at 400 to 600 billion Earth-like planets. Now maybe only 1 in a billion of those planets life actually arises on. 1 in a billion. That still means 400 to 600 billion planets with life out there. That's a lot of life. You would think we would see it everywhere. But you know what? We don't. We look with our ability today, and we have been looking, and we see no signs of life outside of Earth. We have been listening for 45 years for any kind of any civilization that has developed like we have, a radio technology. 45 years, and we've heard nothing. We have sent probes to every planet in this solar system and several moons, some of which are likely targets for life, and we've seen nothing. We have put multiple explorers and rovers on the surface of Mars, a planet where liquid water once flowed over the ground, just like Earth. We're looking for life or even a fossil record of life on Mars, and we find nothing. See, if we could find even one other example outside of Earth, one bacteria, one microbe, from that second example, you could reasonably postulate 3 or more examples of life. But when you only have a single example of anything, it is a logical fallacy to postulate 2 or more examples. So when we only see life on Earth, we can only arrive at one conclusion: that we are alone. And there's plenty of reasons why this might be. It is a stupidly hostile universe for life. Whether you were talking at a galactic scale or a solar scale or a planetary scale, there are a number of ways to snuff out life. Here on this planet alone, we know we have mass extinction events. There have been at least 5 documented events where 70% or more of all the species alive at the time have been killed off. 70%. And even today, with all of our advancement, humans could be easily, and a number of other species as well, knocked out by a medium-sized and well-placed asteroid. It is a hostile place for life. We might not see other life just because it's such a big universe. Now, I just mathematically arrived at some 400 to 600 billion life-bearing planets, but there's also 400 billion galaxies. That could be just 1 to maybe 1.5 planets per galaxy. Earth could be it in the entire Milky Way, just us. And because the distances between galaxies are so vast, it may be impossible to detect or communicate or to travel between them. We could be functionally alone. And another reason why we might not see life is because maybe there's only simple life out there besides us. The universe could be swimming in amoebas, and we would never know it because you can't see them at any distance. The move from simple singular cellular life to complex multicellular life is so hard, it is so fundamentally challenging, that for all we know, it's a 1 in trillion odds that evolution could ever make that leap. We could be it in the universe. I could give you an entire speech about the difficulty of moving from single cellular life to multicellular life. It is that hard. We may be that rare. But if you're with me so far, you may be asking, well, so what? Well, the answer is that until we know different, we have to assume that Earth is the only planet bearing life. And that means that this planet and all of the life on it is literally priceless. And I mean literally in the sense that no amount of money or value or effort can ever replace it if it's gone. And in all of this world, only one species has arisen to the point where we can affect this world on a planetary scale, and that's us. And that is an awesome amount of power. And with great power comes great responsibility. Only one species can appreciate the fact that there are other species on this planet. There are only one species here who can steward this planet. Because there's only one that can, that one must. So to recap, the building blocks of life are abundant and easily assembled. The universe is large and mathematically seems well poised to hold a lot of life. And yet, we don't see that. For whatever reason, the universe is too hostile, or space is too large, or that leap from simple to complex life is too difficult. Whatever the cause, we have to assume that Earth is unique. It is unique on a universal scale, and we must act